Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Vijender Yadav, co-founder and CTO at Accops. In today's time, technology is changing everything around us, right? It is changing our lives, our businesses in different ways. Be it a smart gadget at home or a new tool at the job, it is making things better for us. And this digital transformation is at its peak, right? However, this digital transformation comes with an unintended consequence, a hidden challenge, and that is a challenge for our environment. As we go more digital, we require more machines, more servers, and that is not powered by very clean energy, and it generates a lot of e-waste. Now, everyone is asking that how we can continue to grow while not harming our planet, right? So today I will quickly touch upon how IT teams can continue to be agile, continue to drive the business value, improve the user experience, enhance security, but also help the environment by adopting green computing. But before I do that, let me give a quick introduction of our company. Right? So we are Accops, established in 2012. We were bootstrapped till this month. And we just got a strategic investment from the Reliance Jio Group in our company, so we are their subsidiary now. We have offices in Pune. We opened up our new office in Dubai just now. We are mentioned in multiple Gartner reports, including the latest Gartner quadrant for DaaS. And we operate in multiple countries, but India, Middle East, and Japan. These are the three major markets for us, right? So we have served around 800 plus enterprise customers. A decently sized team, around 250. Not too big, not too small. Now, the pandemic, the global conflict, and the better understanding of the impact of the climate change is triggering this ESG-related concern everywhere. Right? And those in ESG, which is environmental social governance initiatives, they've kicked into high gear. Now, these ESG initiatives helps to build sustainability, and sustainability is it touches all aspects of our businesses, right? Sustainability talks about how we can be innovative in creating the product which takes less resources, right, to build, and then have the right systems and processes so that the products, when they are in field, they can be better recycled, right? And then they can actually, feed the supply chain as well. And this way we can, reduce the carbon emissions and, help the environment. Sustainability also talks about innovating at the people level, providing more inclusive work environment, providing modern workplaces to workforce so that the workforce is productive and you get a progressive workforce. And if you have the right skilled workforce, then only you can create innovative products and your business can be disruption proof. Sustainability also demands that you should have transparent governance framework so that the stakeholders in your business, their needs can be fulfilled, and whenever they want, whatever their goals are, those goals can be met. Now, technology enables us to find those innovations to create products, in a better way. Technology also enables your workforce to be productive from anywhere. And technology is enabling us to collect, huge amount of data, analyze it, create insights, so that you can provide the governance framework. So as we are adopting more technology, it's leading towards sustainability. And also the governance framework that is coming, the demand for better sustainability in businesses is also forcing the businesses to adopt more technology. So they are feeding into each other. And this trend is very well understood by the business leaders, which is evident from these numbers, which is a Gartner report that says that more than 80% of the business leaders, they believe that sustainability makes their business disruption proof. And also it is not just for environment, but it actually brings cost benefit. It builds innovation, right? And the sustainability is also helping them to achieve their long-term and short-term organization goals while helping the environment. Now, looking at the environmental aspect of the sustainability part, which is the carbon emissions in how we operate our businesses, I'll touch upon on the workplaces part, right? Which is which is the day-to-day operations, that we do in the IT world, right? So there are 3 types of emissions, that we cover there. So scope 1 is all about the direct emissions from the office operations, plants and your office spaces. So the more people coming to office, the more offices we are acquiring, we are generating more scope 1 emissions. Scope 2 is all about purely the energy consumed by the operation of the business. And scope 3, which is a more difficult one to track, is all about, all indirect emissions, so, and they comes from the upstream emissions, right from how the raw material is being produced. When you buy a PC, right, how the PC was produced, right? So those are upstream emissions. And then the downstream emissions, which is basically your products when they are being used, or when we throw the products out, what happens and how many emissions are generated there. So, right, looking at how the digital transformation is happening, the use of PCs is very important from that aspect, right? Organizations have to give their workforces, the tools, the computing environment so that people can be productive. PCs, however, comes with their own, issues, So the amount of carbon emissions that get generated while we are building the PCs and, the e-waste that is generated by PCs is quite huge. Let's look at these numbers, right? So as per Gartner, 50% of all the greenhouse, emissions from IT operations is coming from end user devices. And when we buy a new PC, 750 kilogram of carbon emissions are emitted. Out of that, almost 85% is actually coming from just manufacturing and shipping, of the PCs, and 15% comes from the energy consumption. So when we don't buy a PC and we extend the life of a PC by 1 year, the amount of carbon that we are saving is almost like 600 kgs. And this 600 kgs is equivalent to 27 trees. The amount of carbon that is consumed by 27 trees. So delaying one PC is equivalent to growing 27 trees in a year. And if we multiply that by 13,000 PCs, that is equivalent to, 365,000 trees, which is 1,000 trees a day, right? Now, because PCs are important, we have to have computing environment. But there is a way that, how IT teams can reduce, the carbon emissions that are getting generated there. And that is by transforming the physical PC computing into a digital workspace computing. So a digital workspace is all about not doing computing on the PC or not depending on the PC, to have the computing environment running there, right? So you use VDI or a DAS, move all the computing power and the intelligence from the PC into a virtual desktop running from a cloud or a data center. That's one way. Or you can convert all of your business applications to completely web-based applications so that whatever device the user has access to, those applications can be delivered securely to those devices, right? Now, by consolidating all this computing power to the data center or cloud, you are effectively removing the need to continue to buy or refresh, those PCs. Whatever PC, whatever computing device the user has access to, the users can do computing on that. So the multiple ways how this digital workspace can help, save the carbon emissions, some of these are here. Now first is to reuse or repurpose the existing PCs. Why we refresh PCs is because, let's say the OS is upgraded, the application demands more computing power. The PCs, they are getting older and they are not able to support that kind of computing power. By moving the computing from a physical PC to a digital workspace, you are effectively will be able to extend the life of the existing PCs, right? That means there is no need to buy the PCs and you can at least extend it for like 1 or 2 years, right? And move all the computing, to the data center or cloud. That's one. Second is once, the PC is absolutely not usable, you can switch to dumb terminals, which are thin client devices, right? And these dumb terminals, they have much longer lifespan. They can run for like 10 years. They consume quite less energy. That's like 15 watt of power. And that means there is less e-waste will be generated when you have to dump these dumb terminals as well. And because the computing is happening in the data center or cloud, users are not impacted, with any user experience issues. The third is to enable BYOD. Now, when we enable BYOD, that doesn't mean that we are kind of transferring our carbon emissions to the end users, right? That's not the purpose of enabling BYOD. But it is all about that when we enable BYOD, the user is free to use the devices that they have access to, right? So if these are consultants or vendors or your employees, working in remote areas, the organization does not have to ship a PC, to that user. So if you have the secure digital workspace in place, you can enable the user to use whatever device they have access to, and that means there is no need to buy additional PCs. Fourth is to enable secure work from anywhere. That means enabling hybrid work or fully remote work culture so that there is no need to continue to buy more offices, right? And that directly reduces your scope 1 emissions and scope 2 emissions because you don't have people coming into office and people can just work from anywhere. You save on people travel, right? And all other associated amenities that people will typically use, when they come to office. And finally, it is switch to cloud. Whatever efficiency we bring into our own data center, the cloud providers will always have most efficient hardware devices. They will have most efficient power, that is coming in. So Dubai itself has got a data center 100% powered by green energy. So switching to cloud will have significant benefit in reducing the scope 2 emissions. So sustainability, going for sustainability is not just about the environment, but it brings cost optimization, reducing all the cost. Enhancing security because now once you have everything centralized, you can better secure this environment. And bring the agility because now the IT has the power to make changes and to deliver any resource to any user any point of time, and that will result in better business continuity and uninterrupted growth. Now coming to Accops, about us, we are a work from anywhere solution company. We provide multiple solutions. First is virtual apps and virtual desktops. In this arena, popular companies are Citrix, VMware, Microsoft AVD, so we compete there. Pretty comprehensive solution there. And then we've got a ZTNA gateway, right? So we don't say that, okay, VDI is for everyone. VDI doesn't work for all type of users in the organization. A lot of users can be good with, let's say, if you have all web applications, they are good with just a ZTNA gateway as well. So we got a ZTNA gateway. And then we've got an IAM solution as well, which provides multi-factor authentication, single sign-on, passwordless logon, right? Now, if you see here, in any typical enterprise, there are various type of application and various type of user profiles, right? So one technology does not fit all of the users, and that's where you get a comprehensive solution, right, from VDI to gateway to MFA and SSO kind of solutions from Accops. We also have a few solutions which are vertical specific. So we got a ICT lab private cloud solution for educational institutes because educational institutes have a lot of these labs, physical labs, right? So they can be virtualized in a self-service enabled mode that students and faculties can create their own labs and then access it, anywhere, anytime. We got a remote browser isolation solution for critical infrastructure organizations who want to isolate the internet browsing from their local network. So that solution is there. And finally, we have got the endpoint devices. And these endpoint devices are purpose-built for VDI kind of access. They are low power, cost-effective devices, long-life devices. We have got these thin laptops, or of course, Chromebooks, can be used, with our solution. So we provide, these devices also. So what you get is you get a comprehensive solution, from one vendor. Now, all of our solutions are package solutions. That means they can be deployed on any infrastructure that you bring to us, right? There's no SaaS service yet, right? And that means if you're looking at solutions which you can deploy in your own Azure, your own AWS, or your, VMware or Nutanix infrastructure, we can do that. In Middle East, these are some of our reference customers where we have provided services. And these are some of our global customers. I can talk about some big customers like Axis Bank, the third largest private bank, NIC, which is the central government, arm of India, right? This is the reason that you would look at us. Of course, there are multiple players in this remote access domain, but what we are looking at is when organizations are trying to move from a physical PC computing to a digital workspace computing, a lot of vendors, comes into play, right? You need, of course, your data center or cloud, that will always be there. But then you need a, VDI broker, you need a remote access gateway, you need a MFA, thin client, everything is coming from different vendors. What we provide is everything from a single, vendor. So that's our USP, so that you get better cost, first of all, looking at the whole stack. You're looking at a reduction of 50% of the cost. You get faster support resolution. The TAT is very, very low. That's what most of our customers come back and tell us that that's their biggest benefit, in going for us. I'll quickly talk about 3 case studies. First is for the largest e-commerce company in India. They're a Walmart-owned organization. Everybody knows Flipkart. And when they wanted to, during COVID times, they wanted to run their call centers. The dilemma was how to provide remote access to their CRM applications to these agents who will be hired for like 3-4 months during Big Billion Days. And VDI was suggested because VDI gives you perfect solution from a data copy protection perspective. They went ahead with our solution, which is a ZTNA gateway, avoided the VDI, right? So we sell VDI, but we said, okay, just go ahead with the gateway, which provided them on-demand DLP on BYOD devices so that agents will log in, everything gets secured on their PC, they get a secure container. Inside that they can access, the applications. So the big benefit for them was they never had to bring those agents. Even now COVID is over, but 25,000 agents will be hired now in this month because the Big Billion Day is starting and they will all be working from home. So no offices, no assets to be shipped by Flipkart. There's no carbon emission. Second is third largest private bank in India who had like these 2 PCs to isolate, the core banking network from a Swift network. And 2 PCs to be managed, a lot of hassles for IT, cost was very high. So we kind of virtualized both the PCs, gave them a thin client. So 1 thin client, 2 monitors, access to virtual desktop. They reduce the cost on the PCs. Users are happy that they have bigger, more desk space, available to them. And because everything is virtualized, the bank could now offer Swift transaction services from their other branches as well. And finally, the Polycab, which is the largest electrical cable manufacturer in India, manufacturing company, 85 different distribution centers, everything is virtualized. Every distribution center has got thin client devices. They connect over any network that is available to them, mostly MPLS, but internet is also okay. And the company manages everything with few IT engineers, their complete national network. Right, so finally, sustainability is now a pillar to drive the shareholder value, right? So it's no more can be ignored, and it's not anybody else's problem. All of us have to drive that change, and let's make planet Earth a stakeholder in our business. Thank you.